Winner bracket final of this Dreamhack. And spawning in the top left as our red Zerg, it is the final boss. It is Solar.
Representing that Samsung Galaxy swag. Good luck, have fun. FireCake is called. It's here in the bottom. It is FireCake, playing as the blue Zerg. Vertical positions here on Ruins of Steris, so this will be a very, very honest game. Both players will be able to scout each other out early on, and both players also going for that trademark macro play. Both of these players very, very macro-oriented in their styles, but FireCake, though, playing even more safely than Solar does here.
Against a player that's so confident, such as Solar, he can do anything, and setting off the pace of a series is very important. So if Solar was to get a cheap, nasty win here, not predicting that, hey, my opponent has a 33% chance to spawn vertically and going for not being scouted so quickly, that could be nice. But here, yeah, we have a spawning pool and a gas for FireCake, so...
Yeah, very conservative opening here from FireCake, but the gas timings are very similar here, but Solar should be the one coming out on top in this build order exchange. And FireCake, he made this decision even after scouting that there was vertical positions here, and you know, the Overlords saw each other, I believe. So he's really, really playing this out as safely as he possibly can.
And that shows a lot of confidence, because when you're against somebody that you deem better than you usually take little risks here and there.
Yeah, it absolutely does show a bit of confidence, but does it also reveal a little bit of weakness that you're afraid of a one-base play?
It does.
Could it be?
It can reveal so much, or it can reveal so little, but either way...
It's so hard to know.
Yeah, either way these players go into it, they're both in the winner bracket final. They've both done extremely well so far. And as FireCake talked about, this is the player that he studied, this is the player that he learned from.
Yeah, and it could be that one of the things that he studied could have been one of those one-base plays from Solar. Like, we never know. We don't know what FireCake knows, how much he has seen. So both players now going into that traditional circling speed. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Baneling Nest from FireCake, as he likes to play ever so safely. Not putting it down just yet, but I'm sure we'll see it go down very, very shortly.
Ooh, and a very early Baneling. In fact, look at how mirrored these builds are from this point on.
Very, very similarly timed here, but this is a very standard straight-up game also. Solar going for those initial scouting Zerglings a little bit sooner than FireCake, but the worker counts are very, very similar, and we can see how the Hatch First has a little worker advantage compared to that pool expansion that FireCake went for.
Yeah, even though FireCake is one worker ahead right now, he gets them a little bit later, so economically...
Look at this though, Solar with the first big interesting choice here, going for that third base. And might even get a drone kill here.
Oh, and he gets the drone kill.
That's a huge blow there to FireCake. Losing a drone like that's not something you want to have happen. It's not the biggest of deals, but it's kind of a moral victory there for Solar.
Exactly, that's what I was going to get at there. Even though it's only 50 minerals, you may think, hey, you know, that's not that big of a deal.
Turn up to heat.
Oh, man.
12 Zerglings in production, and those two Zerglings, they were suicided at the front. So there's no possibility for Solar to morph those two Zerglings into Banelings offensively. But with these 14 Zerglings, he should be able to have complete map control at the very front of his base, and that's something he's going to need with that third base being so exposed.
FireCake, though, making the right call here, still making Zerglings, so he's
there's the two Banelings. Solar and morphing those two Banelings at the Watchtower, so he will have both Zerglings and Banelings at his disposal, and FireCake going for the defensive Banelings of his own. Very smart choice here.
Now going right for that hatchery, and if he does get the hatchery, he'll have a significant lead here. The Banelings are calling him one from either side.
Going for the sandwich. One Baneling from the right and one from the left. This is going to get awkward real fast for FireCake. He has to maneuver perfectly here.
Oh, a nice micro so far by both of them. No real detonations going off. In fact, no Banelings going off at all.
This is just the softest type of pressure here from Solar. And FireCake, he was forced into many additional links, despite the fact that the Zerglings he has on the field, they're not really accomplishing much right now.
No, but this is really impressive control by both players, especially FireCake.
But the difference is, Solar, he's extending his lead in the worker count. He's making the Roach Warren, and he's making more drones than FireCake has been. Look at the worker count, 40 to 34, 42 to 34. Solar, he's so far ahead in drones just by making these small moves. A big explosion there on the Zerglings.
That was a huge explosion on the Zerglings there.
Banelings coming in though. And a big explosion, counter explosion there from FireCake, removing so many of Solar's Zerglings from the map here.
Should Solar... Oh.
Possibly another one there.
Oh, wow. Nice micro by FireCake. Actually manages to get the Baneling.
FireCake has the army lead here. All of these circlings might be able to pay off, but Solar has these defensive Banelings.
Oh, man. Banelings.
Oh, this is going to get sketchy, though, because all of the Banelings from Solar are removed. The FireCake is going to jump on this location.
But look how many Lings are on the way
Even
for Solar.
drones having to join the fight, but wow, beautiful pullback there. Will FireCake be able to pick them off? 2 red drones. Those 2 drones in the red. Perfect control from Solar, saving those.
And now Solar is on the counter-aggression all of a sudden. In fact, he has a worker deficit now, so behind all this, FireCake was droning up. He's actually getting out roaches now to defend, so they're both reading each other very, very well here.
Yeah, both players going at it with these armies, and FireCake behind this, he's actually been the one to get the very healthy drone lead, so now FireCake has a very, very good worker count, but the army supply is still lagging a tiny bit behind, and Solar is the one player to start the lair first.
FireCake marching some nifty Banelings across the map, so I'm wondering what they're actually going to... Oh,
look at how active these players are with their armies. It's insane.
This Baneling. Oh, they do sneak in, but they are sniffed out there. So Solar does go for the retreat here.
Very good awareness there from Solar. Could have lost all of those Zerglings to those single Banelings, but was able to dodge them.
Look at these production tabs. They're so similar. Getting their lairs roughly the same time, getting their +1 roughly the same time. The drone counts also haven't really skimmed too far apart. Always within 5 of each other.
What does he see? He sees that there is no gas in the main base, but he does know that the lair is on the way.
Look at FireCake drone counts.
Rocketing ahead in drones. This could be a real problem for Solar over time.
Yeah, if he doesn't punish this soon or catch up soon, he's going to be in trouble. And it looks like he's trying to play the catch-up game here.
But Solar Supply, though, he has the big army. Is he going to force FireCake into something that he doesn't want by having this sizable army? I'm not so sure. Both players are reaching their target drone counts for 3 bases, and FireCake is actually taking a 4th before Solar is.
Roach speed does start for Solar here. But it starts with FireCake as well, and he even starts with +2 almost immediately.
FireCake is really impressive here, but a very cute move from Solar as well, going for a Baneling drop potentially towards the mineral line here of FireCake. It's such a slow one as well.
I love this. He's going to drop the Banelings in, and hopefully during a fight, he's going to run them into the main base mineral line.
The Ravagers of Solar are also on the field, picking off FireCake's vision with those Overlords being removed from the map. Those Ravagers, of course.
FireCake has to be so active.
FireCake is distracted, but that was not the best hit. That could have been so much better for Solar.
He could have ran right into the middle of that mineral line.
A little bit of a missed opportunity there, as Solar was being active with the Zerglings in the middle of the map and not paying the best of attention.
Or
but
maybe
look at the supplies. Look at the supplies, though. Solar has such a massive army at this stage of the game.
But look at the bank for FireCake. It's
FireCake doesn't have Larva.
Army.
Larva has FireCake doesn't have any Larva to spend his resources with. He has to hit those injects, and I'm pretty sure that the reason why he doesn't have those larvae is because Solar is just being so active with his army, and FireCake's not keeping up with that multitasking right now. He has to catch up with those injects.
Also, look how many Overlords he's having to produce at once. He's been losing Overlords because of these Ravagers, but also...
And those Overlords also use a lot of the precious larva. As you know, going from Heart of the Swarm to Legacy of the Void, the larva count per inject was reduced from 4 to only 3, so injects are even more important now if you don't have those macro hatcheries.
But in the blink of an eye, Snoot, FireCake actually takes the lead in supply. So these guys, they're neck and... This is the closest we've seen Solar in this tournament within regards to a ZvZ.
FireCake just wanted to make it look a little closer, and very nice positioning here as well. Denying these 4 Banelings from doing anything, that's a lot of resources wasted for Solar, but also a little bit of a distraction.
And here comes Solar. This is a very large army. Corrosive Vials. Taking out Solar's Overlords. And look at the supply. 192 for FireCake, 187 for Solar.
One very important thing to mention here before this battle begins is that FireCake's +2 upgrade is far ahead. It's about to kick in soon, but the fight is actually happening before that. Lots of shots going down. Neither player really willing to engage here. But so far, look at the supplies. FireCake has the better bank. He has the better upgrade. +2 complete.
Oh boy, and look at those Overlords constantly following that army. He knows every step that Solar's making here, and it looks like FireCake's the one wanting to be aggressive here. And he's the one with +2 finish, so this is the right move by FireCake.
Little bit of a difficult engagement here. Solar backing off, and a very cool roach drop here in the main.
Wow, and
Solar's multitasking is being tested here.
It's FireCake making the moves, and here, a huge fight between the two of them.
Wow, big engagement going down here. The Ravagers on both sides still alive. Couple of corrosive bars hitting the blue roaches again from FireCake. But look at the supplies.
FireCake's taking it.
FireCake's doing it.
He's actually pushing Solar back, and with the harass in the main base too from FireCake. This is really sick play from him.
Do not take FireCake for granted here. Looking very strong in this game, using the +2 timing to his advantage, having that upgrade chained earlier than his opponent here, and having huge success with it. Solar's Baneling harass with the Overlord drops didn't do much. FireCake says, you know what, you're not supposed to drop Banelings, you're supposed to drop Roaches, and he's so far ahead in this game right now.
Look at the banks as well, Snoot. The FireCake's almost at 200 supply. Solo's only at
A little bit of
170.
an awkward exchange here.
But he also has the bank to reproduce. He's had 70 drones the whole time. He's had a superior drone
And it
count.
seems like we were wrong about the larva situation. FireCake did have the larva, he just didn't spend it, and all of a sudden, he was ahead in supply, like you said. Now, FireCake is playing a beautiful game here against Solar.
And there's so much harass going on by FireCake too, both using those Overlord drops to great success.
And there's one thing I want to say here. This is not one of those coin flip ZvZs. This is as macro as it gets.
And micro.
FireCake. And micro. And FireCake is doing it here.
We saw both these players
very
dodging Bile.
ambitious.
Ooh, big Bile
Oh,
hit.
I'm
Looks
not
like
sure.
Solar's got a better concave here,
A little
though.
bit of awkward move commanding from FireCake. A huge mistake.
Oh, he went right into that concave there, but still, somehow, he's harassing on the right side.
I cannot stress how much of a mistake that was. You never want to move command like that. A massive mistake here, putting Solar back in a good position again.
Oh, but FireCake, his bank, it's still being untouched here.
And this is such a big map. Simply attacking into your opponent here is a very, very difficult task. You have to be so precise.
Look at these production tabs again. Burrow, +1 carapace on the way. These players, they're mirroring each other right now. This is a huge battle going down. And FireCake, he's fighting with quite a lot of reinforcements still joining. But here, the battle's going on.
Corrosive Biles going down, not really hitting much. Great pullbacks here from FireCake. Supplies so even, it's difficult to tell who's actually winning this fight.
Oh,
the
but
Ravager
Solar
count is so superior. Where is FireCake's army?
Oh, it looks like Solar with his true strong play, and even sharking towards him.
He has more Ravagers, he has more Ravagers, he has more damage, he has those Corrosive Biles available to him. And thanks to that move command FireCake used earlier, by mistake, Solar is now in between FireCake's bases, pushing forward despite looking to be in such a horrible situation. Now he's the one with the lead.
Oh, and it does look like Solar's managing to do it, but he is
Massive
trapped.
Corrosive Biles there, making all the Roaches drop deep down to the red.
He's fighting against the reinforcements, though, of FireCake, but is it just too much? Solar, reinforcements coming in now. He's destroying FireCake at this point in time.
I have to say, FireCake played out the early game so beautifully, building an advantage for himself, and then the one big mistake, and Solar pouncing on it so well. When they move away, they also lose a little bit of their damage time.
Anyhow, carrying on with this series. First game went to Solar, spawning in the bottom left. It is Solar.
Playing here on Dusk Towers, this is the map choice of FireCake. Let's see if he can bring it back. Here in the top, current hope in this tournament, still in the winner's bracket, FireCake. Proving how strong of a player he is.
It was really
Can he do it here,
fantastic
though?
play from FireCake too. He's the player that we've counted out time and time again.
So many times.
And Solar even said right before in the interview, he said, well, FireCake beat Nurtio, now I'm happy because now I'm going to win. Now I'm not playing Nurtio. And I mean, after that first game, Solar's got to be a bit like, wow, I got to show my opponent a little bit more respect because he had me. He really did.
Yeah, up until that one mistake, was definitely looking very grim for Solar. Both players once again going for the macro openings here. Hatch gas pool, it's fairly standard, but at the same time also a little bit risky. We saw earlier in this tournament many circulars be eliminated by aggressive one-base openings, but both players staying true to their styles, playing hatch first with that macro style.
This first game in the series, that was just a perfect example of how you play ZvZ, like the most standard ZvZ you have.
All about them Roaches and Ravagers.
And the initial Ling Baneling micro too.
Absolutely.
You almost always have to open up with Ling Baneling. And is there going to be some sort of pressure? Well, both of these players did that, and it snowballed, or rather it swung around from side to side. Who had the drone lead and who didn't, and who could be aggressive. And then their transition into Roaches as well, it was just smooth, so smooth.
Everything was so smooth. ZvZ is basically this knife fight, and you have to take small steps at a time. The better player you're playing against, or the more aggression is involved, the smaller steps you have to take at a time. And what we saw in the previous game, I was really amazed by how FireCake was able to leap forward slightly more than Solar in the drone count. So FireCake, he really knows how to get a solid economy going for himself. And I think seems like so far Solar might be up to a little bit of special tactics here, not going for that early circling speed.
Oh, and what do you think he's going to use that gas on instead? I mean, he's still mining gas at a pretty decent rate. In fact, has he taken...
We'll have to wait and see. We saw some, I wouldn't call this gasless because obviously Solar has gas, more like speedless. We saw that type of play on Arena from Nerchio in his series against FireCake, and it didn't go very well using Queens. And FireCake, against something like a gasless opening, he has the perfect response. He has a third base that is so fast that against a player that will have trouble securing his third base, FireCake can skyrocket ahead in economy with a build like this if he does call out the fact that Solar does not have circling speed on the way. I'm very curious to see what Solar is going to spend his resources on.
I have to say, getting that much gas without using it this early in ZvZ?
It feels a little bit weird to me because you... Oh, wow.
Oh, he's getting a lair now.
Lair. Could this be something like a Nidus all-in, possibly? I did play that tournament in China, and one of the builds that I actually lost to on this very map was a Nidus all-in off of 2 bases with roaches. And even in that game, I did take a fast third. But if you don't have enough roaches to defend with, you can still lose to a 2-base build like this. And FireCake, I have to say, right now, he does not know if this is a roach, it could be Muta, it could be anything. And I think FireCake maybe, just maybe, wants to put on a little bit of pressure on this double queen defense, try to break it apart so he can get the scouts. Can he do it though?
But seeing that those Queens are blocking the way.
He sees the creep tubers. I would say this is a huge tell that this is not going to be some sort of Spire play. Usually if you go for Spire play, you have way less Queens than usual, and seeing those 2 creep tumors drop there means that Solar has made a lot of Queens. What usually goes with Queens? Well, not exactly mutas. You want to have many drones and gases very quickly, but if you don't take those 4 gases quickly, that usually means roaches are involved, multiple Queens involved. Well, what do you send through the Nidus? You send Queens.
And you called it, Snood. That is a Nidus network on the way, but FireCake.
I think FireCake is in an amazing position to take this game.
He's reacting very well. He's making roaches. He's
even if he invested in the Baneling Nest, even if he invested in the circling speed and the Baneling Nest, that Baneling Nest is actually a very valuable tool to FireCake right now if he knows about the tactic, how to make the Nidus Worm completely useless.
And he's still droning up quite a bit.
The Baneling deals so much damage to
the Nidus network.
Exactly. And if you turn on the automatic attack and place the Banelings right next to the worm, and here it is. There's no Banelings here.
He's seen it though, he's seen it. He's pulled his queen over there. He's pulling the roaches.
The roaches slowly waddling over here. The drone's being pulled.
This is quite a committal by FireCake here.
And Solar is transitioning behind this, getting that third base. Queen's going out, transfusing the Nidus Worm. This is a massive attack, but FireCake targeting down the Nidus Worm.
Wow, this is so messy here. So many roaches by both players. But it looks...
Wow.
Oh, I don't even know who's winning here.
What is even happening here? Solar with the supply lead so far. The working count's very even. Solar putting down another Nidus Worm as well.
A Nidus network in the front now.
Nidus Worms aren't free. They cost money. They cost resources.
And FireCake holds up wave 1. But wave 2 is incoming.
And FireCake is making 11 drones behind this though. That might be a massive mistake.
Oh lord, and that is so many roaches.
He didn't expect this second Nidus Worm, and FireCake being as greedy as he showed in the first game, but this time it's going to backfire. He doesn't have the larva to spend the roaches. All those drones, they were just cancelled just now.
A counterattack by FireCake is happening with the Lings, but this is not the real worry. The worry is this amount of roaches inside his base.
So brutal here by FireCake. Didn't expect the second Nidus Worm, and Solar only making roaches from this point and out. He's going to crush this army from FireCake. He had the larva, but he made drones instead of roaches against a player that has a very late third base and the Nidus network. This is a brutal mistake, and Solar is punishing FireCake so badly.
Poor FireCake here. Thought he was out of danger, out of the woods, but no, Solar.
FireCake was ready to go for that finishing move, but instead it's Solar who's turning it around and executing the finishing move against FireCake.
And here he is. So many roaches here, doubling the supply of FireCake.
Can you believe it?
In the bottom right, as our Reds are currently 2-0. Can anybody stop him? It is Solar.
Looking very, very solid here so far. Despite FireCake setting up a very, very good lead for himself in the early game usually. Here in the top of Prime Terraces, it is FireCake. On his very, very last life. Well, not in the tournament, but for this series, if he loses one more time, Solar will be the grand finalist. FireCake has to show his very, very best play here in order to bring this back.
And you know he's in the winner bracket final here. They're both in the winner bracket final. The loser will go on to face the winner of Parting and Showtime. Now, doesn't doesn't really get a hell of a lot easier.
That's not a challenge you want to... I mean, Showtime is looking so scary in PvC. Parting as well, also scary in PvC.
Very different styles
want...
of PvZ too.
Yeah, but either way, you don't want to drop down to that lower bracket.
No, and here we have both players expanding to the gold.
In slightly different fashion. Solar going for the hatchery first. That's going to allow him to do a drone transfer, get that economy going a little bit sooner than FireCake. FireCake going for the safe approach here with a spawning pool first, as usual. Seems to be very comfortable in doing this. And he will also have the possibility to drone transfer to that gold base a little bit later, of course. But for now, just making 2 scouting Zerglings, playing very, very safe. I have to commend FireCake. Despite opening so safely in every single game, he's always had very good opportunities for himself to build a situation where he's in a pretty good spot.
Certainly, like we've talked about how the spawning pool first, yes, it's safer. And he never really looks as if it pushes him.
It never looks like he invested into something that eats too much into his economy. But here we see the early drone transfer from Solar. Are these 2 Zerglings going to be able to disrupt the economy a whole lot? Here's the drone transfer from FireCake as well. But I do believe that Solar is the one with the advantage here so far. 2 Zerglings pop as well to fend these Zerglings off. Very good by Solar. A little bit of micro skirmish going down there. FireCake doesn't want to lose these links. They have a lot of utility.
Ha! First blood is drawn and FireCake runs away with a little victory there. But
Solar actually making 4 links to deal with that. And he's adding on 2 more, going up to 6. FireCake making 2 more Zerglings as well. But the big difference here in the build orders, Ben.
The tech. Why such an early Roach Warren? Is he just planning on playing the defender's role here?
We've seen this before, and sometimes we have seen the attacks hit so fast right before the roaches, but with build orders like this, you can actually go for a Roach Warren relatively early and still be safe, have them out in time before the Banelings. Roaches should be starting soon in this gold base of Solar, and FireCake going for a big Zergling Baneling swell.
Yeah, he doesn't plan on making this game last any longer than it should, and he's making a
neither does
lot of
Solar.
lings. That is 20 lings in the production tab now, sticking on 20 workers, but Solar's actually reading this situation very well.
But the speed is complete. A few seconds and a couple of links getting picked off here.
Oh, but Solar gets away just by the skin of his teeth there.
Now, FireCake will see the roaches, and I'm not sure how he's going to respond to this. Cancels the Banelings. This is not going to work, or will it? Solar, he could return to droning, but no, he keeps making roaches. And against FireCake right now, that will be the right decision, as he will be able to fend off this army. So far though, Zerglings getting dangerously close to Banelings, but beautiful sniping there as well from Solar, taking down all the Banelings.
Solar read this so well. He read this so well, he didn't drone up at all.
The Queen even helping a bit. And these roaches just standing strong. Solar with the perfect, how to say it, premonition here, making the Roach Warren, and FireCake fell right into Solar's trap. Almost desperate at this point, making 20 Zerglings at a time.
Yeah, this is not looking good. While their economies are fairly similar, the army of Solar is that much stronger.
It's just a higher technology army. Roaches, they beat Banelings pretty well.
Yeah, and I mean, you can have a lot of lings, but Solar's getting the next counter in the step. It's going to be a very, very short game here.
Oh, Solar getting a Baneling less stuff. It's a little bit of a curious choice there. Might want to go for some sort of offensive. I'm not sure. Maybe he saw how many Zerglings FireCake made. It's a little bit of an awkward choice from Solar here. But in general, it doesn't matter because it's just that far ahead in economy. FireCake, he's going to have to pull off something incredible to come back from here.
And FireCake did see the Banelings morphing in there. He has been making his own roaches. Solar, though, has been squeezing in a few extra drones, so has a slight drone lead, but it looks like Solar is going for it. That is a lot of lings on the way and already a lot of army on the field.
Solar going for a big attack using roaches and Banelings in combination against a similar army from FireCake, but FireCake was the one who tried to attack first, and Solar was the one defending with the superior technology and economy. Solar, just by the numbers, is ahead, and he wants to close it out with this big attack.
And that is a lot of Banelings running into the roaches of FireCake. They move forward.
Oh, the Banelings are going to force the Joseph time and they explode on all of them. Look at the supplies. Solar finally is making this look so easy, going for the grand finals here at Dreamhack.
Man, oh man, Solar just decimated FireCake in this game. He read him beautifully, and I couldn't put it better. It was premonition or something.